Now bless now, people. Don't forget the rest. Now, Desmond at King of the Pit TV had a recommendation on the Patreon by my good friend Michael. He says, check this act out. Plain and simple. I mean, he didn't say that word by word, but I like to give. Well, do you know what he said? He says, Des, you're the best. Love you to bits. He didn't say that either. All right. Although I expect you all to start saying this after this point, okay? Where are my roses? Where are my roses? I want to have flowers thrown up on me. Couple of bras here and there. I mean, you're all fellas over on the Patreon, but if you own a bra, you know, chuck it up, you know. No problem. Rusty was recommended by the band Slick Shoes, 16 tracks. I said it during the listen through, I'll say it again. Slick Shoes is possibly the worst band name I've heard in my life. Slick Shoes is a makeshift name, makeshift title, a placeholder title for your band or the songs what you're coming together with and jamming in band practice. We'll call it Slick Shoes. We'll call it this, we'll call it that, and then you develop a proper name for it as time goes by. With that being said, it's unique. I don't know of another Slick Shoes, so I can't disagree with that. And who am I to judge? The fact that it garners a reception from me is a showcase of good artistry in itself, you know? If you can engage and create opinion, disregarding if it's divisive or not, you know, power be, then it's good. But Slick Shoes was the band. Now, I get that hating out of the way to say this. This was a brilliant record. This had an amazing sound to it. So I'll say this was a brilliant record, but I will go further and elevate my statement of it being a amazing sound, a great sound, really fantastic sound. The sound engineering and the production, the clarity, the way the audio goes from the YouTube playlist to my ears through my less than adequate headphones. It was perfect. It couldn't have sounded any better. It sounded crisp. And I came into this saying, it sounds like a 90s band, but it can't be a 90s record because it sounds too good to be a 90s record. The sound production is too good for it to be a 90s record. Bruh, 97 was the credit. No identification of it being a remaster. I can't see it being a remaster, just down to the fact, you know, I assume it's a relatively limited fan base. I've never heard of this act. The view count, you know, it doesn't go up to the moon and beyond. It's not one of them records. And it was good because this listen through, I didn't have any comments. The comments were hidden on the videos and I did no background information. And I had never come across this band in my entire life. So it really was down to the music. It really was down to the product and what I thought of it. And I thought it was really good. It ticked a lot of boxes for me because I like hardcore music. And, you know, you could dispute it's not really a hardcore punk band, but it definitely comes with the energy of a hardcore punk band. Whether you would call it punk rock or pop punk is up to you. Me personally, I reckon this is a pop punk record, erring on the punk side as opposed to the pop side, which is pleasing. The drumming was fantastic, or at least the drumming did a great job, and the sound engineer ensured that you could really, really, really enjoy that drumming. Great sound, great tones, great timbre, great performance. The guitarists were very good. Very talented guitarists. Definitely knows how to play a guitar to a way more advanced level than what is showcased through the power chord, you know, playing on this record. But that's a reoccurring theme we have with great albums, that the musicians can do so much more, but play within a specific set of boundaries to ensure they've got space to maneuver and they can do what they do really well, because such as the sound engineering was good. The sound engineering is going to come across a bit mechanical, robotic, given that they can't play their parts right, and the sound engineer has to, add all of this magic and cut and splice and do all of this stupid shit. The band's evidently tight, given, the quality of the record, the cohesiveness of the record, the pop of the record. Definitely a tight act. And yeah, like I said, as far as the guitarist is concerned, couple of guitar licks here and there which stand out, and you think, yeah, this dude can play guitar, because that's beyond like a little twinkle or a little twiddle. Like, that is a well performed moment. Vocals, good. I like the tone of the vocalist. I can see it being a hit or miss thing with the vocalist's voice. For me, very good. Reminds me of one of my good friends who I used to perform on the circuit around here, go to open mic nights with, and he formed a little three-piece, little pub rock band, and he had a tone such as the guy on here. Obviously didn't play punk rock music, but that tone is something familiar to me and brought me back and really made a great connection with me. Good harmonies. I would argue there was no filler at all. Each and every song was okay. Yeah. What more can I say? Man, this is going to be a tough one to rate, in all honesty. I'm fascinated to see where the band goes from here. I don't know. They would have to change their sound from here, because they can't do what they're doing better, which is a complete, round of applause for this act, for this record. You can't really do it better than what they've done. What can they do different? They can write a whole new bunch of songs, but they've done what they've needed to do there. They've hit the ceiling, in my opinion, with this record. They'd have to change the sound, change the influence. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10, and I give it a 7.5 out of 10 purely as I'm hoping, if this band continued, because I'd seen like live performances and stuff in the related videos 2003, whereas this was part of 97, I'm hoping that they hit that 8 out of 10 at the least in any records that came after. That's what I think. But overall, this was a really good experience, a band I've never heard of before. I don't need to say anything more. I'm signing out on that. Peace and love, people. Shout out to Michael. Bye-bye.